Short-form vertical content is a powerful tool for generating leads, increasing brand awareness, and driving engagement. It's really no surprise that this style of content has become a dominant force in the digital landscape. The ability to reach new audiences across various social media platforms alone has become a game changer for brands and companies worldwide. The very same brands and companies that are investing billions of dollars with this type of mobile-friendly advertising. And it's no secret at this point that YouTube wants a piece of that pie, hence YouTube Shorts. Now, my relationship with YouTube Shorts is interesting because I'd consider myself a hybrid creator here on YouTube. I've published 118 long-form videos and 119 YouTube Shorts on my channel at the time of this recording. With that said though, I've been publishing Shorts very inconsistently due to time constraints, and I used to publish them only once per week. But I was curious from an analytics standpoint, what would happen to my channel if I published a YouTube Short every single day for an entire month? 31 days to be exact. And not to jump the gun, but that's what I did. What I was mostly interested in was to see what that level of consistency actually did for my channel, if it actually would help my channel grow, and if it's something that makes sense to do for my channel and business long term. Also, if it even matters what types of shorts I'm publishing when it comes to the topics. And in my shorts creation process, I'm always reminded of this tweet by Matt Koval that I really liked because I truly think this is how you should implement shorts to your channel, especially with YouTube's new related video feature, ever since they removed links from shorts. So for the entire month of March, I published a combination of channel relevant content that can directly link to a long form video about the same topic, some YouTube specific content including how I record my YouTube shorts, iPhone 15 photo and video content since I just got my new phone, topical content around holidays and announcements or news that took place in March while staying in my niche, and one experimental video that still has to do with photography but has no related equivalent on my channel at all. It's a video about the first photo of a human, and we'll call it the chicken wing for this test. Oh, and lastly, all 31 videos were filmed in 4 separate batch recording sessions, so none of the videos were repurposed content from any of my past long form videos. Now, without wasting any more time, let's dive into the analytics to see exactly what happened. Okay, so I created a new comparison group that has all of the new 31 shorts added to it, and we'll be comparing to all of the YouTube shorts on my channel, including the newly added 31 shorts. We'll only be looking at the full month of March to truly see the impact the new shorts had on my channel. Starting with views, my channel received approximately 44,047 shorts views in the entire month of March, and 21,134 of those views came from the new 31. Those 21,134 views are approximately 48% of my total March shorts views. Not too bad overall, considering 31 out of 119 shorts are responsible for almost half the views. Next on the list is average view duration. The channel as a whole has an AVD of 33 seconds, while the new 31 had an AVD of 24 seconds. Now, despite being short form content, what the AVD is telling me is that the new 31 YouTube shorts had room for improvement to better retain viewer attention in comparison to older shorts on the channel. I will say, however, that I think average percentage viewed is where we should really be paying attention, with the channel as a whole having an APV of 73.7% and the new 31 having an APV of 56.3%. If on average my YouTube shorts are being watched for over 50% of their respective lengths, in a world of doom scrolling, I'd call that somewhat successful in my book. Although there is always room for improvement, as mentioned earlier. This can definitely be better. Now for new viewers. This metric measures viewers who discovered my channel for the first time by watching my videos. And the channel as a whole had 35,752 new viewers in the month of March, and 19,622 of those new viewers came from the new 31. That's almost 55% of my new viewers discovering my channel specifically due to publishing consistently for an entire month. So the brand awareness aspect of short form vertical content is definitely true in this case. That said, let's see how many subscribers I gained from all these views and new viewers. This specific subscriber metric shows the change in total subscribers found by subtracting subscribers lost from subscribers gained, with the channel as a whole gaining 122 subscribers in total, and 33 of them came from the new 31 YouTube shorts. That's around 25% of my new subscribers joining my channel channel due to the new shorts, which isn't nothing, but definitely something to consider. It begs the question, what could I have done differently with my shorts? The topics, the hooks, the editing style. I think this is why experimenting is so important, and I'll give a really good example of this here shortly. To round out this portion of the video, let's take a look at the estimated revenue from shorts alone. The channel as a whole made $3.66 for the month of March, and $2.83 of that was from the new 31. That's around 77% of my estimated shorts revenue coming from the new 31, if only the RPM was higher than 13 cents. Now here's where it gets really interesting. Let's see which of the new 31 videos did the best and worst in each respective metric. The YouTube short with the highest view count was my video about the first photo of a human, with 6,754 views by the end of March. If you remember from earlier, this is the chicken wing video. The video with the least amount of views was how much YouTube paid me my first 5 months being monetized, with only 21 views. Granted, this was the video I published on March 31st, but still, it can be annoying to not really know why the algorithm didn't decide to pick it up. Since almost all of my YouTube short traffic comes from a sudden spike in views when YouTube shares the video with a seed audience, and then it's almost always followed by an immediate plateau if too many people swipe away. I have a feeling some or most of you experience this as well with shorts. But anyways, the video with the highest average percentage viewed, again, was the first photo of a human video, with 70.5% of it being watched on average. The video with the least average percentage viewed was my perfectionism is a scam video, at 27.8% of it being watched on average. I will say that it is the 5th longest YouTube short I published in March, with it being 56 seconds long. Now, I'm starting to see a pattern here, but the video that brought the most new viewers to my channel was once again the video focusing on the first photo of a human, bringing 6,492 new viewers to my channel for the very first time. And once again, the video that brought the least new viewers was my 5-month YouTube monetization update, bringing only 9 new viewers. The first photo of a human video also brought 14 subscribers to my channel, the highest in the month of March, with the least number of subscribers being an 18-way tie for 0 subscribers joining the channel. And I would argue that these 18 videos are all pizza bites. Last but not least, the first photo of a human generated approximately $1.23 in the month of March. 43.6% of the revenue generated from the new 31. Might as well be 50%. Ironically, the video with the lowest generated revenue was, you guessed it, my 5-month monetization update, which generated 4 cents in the month of March. So the video that did the best was the completely random, one-off experimental chicken wing video that has no long-form equivalent, but the channel relevant and topical content all fell short in comparison. There's obviously always more research and more experimentation that can be done, and the 31-day test isn't always going to generate the same results on a per channel and per types of content basis. But I will say that sometimes the YouTube Shorts algorithm doesn't really make sense. Who knows, I might do this again, but for 100 days straight. We'll see. But for now, I think I'm going to stick with long form horizontal videos with some shorts here and there if it makes sense at the time. So did being consistent help my channel grow? Technically yes, but it did not accelerate the speed of growth. In fact, the fastest subscriber growth I've experienced was in January and February, only to slow down slightly in March. Does it make sense to continue being consistent? Honestly, it's a bit inconclusive. It ended up being the chicken wing video that helped my channel the most. That said, I still think short form vertical videos are valuable from a business standpoint, and I definitely plan to continue learning, experimenting, and strategizing to truly see what types of shorts resonate the most with my audience. Thank you for watching, liking, and subscribing, guys. I hope you found the information in this video valuable. And if I were to give any advice from everything we've covered in this video, it's to keep experimenting with your content and to truly see what works and what doesn't. Also, if there's anything I missed, please don't hesitate to let me know down in the comments, and let me know your thoughts on the whole pizza thing as well. From here, feel free to hop into this playlist for more YouTube tips and tricks, and I'll see you there.